How is it going, everyone? Welcome back to our channel, Trendline Forex here. I think today's video is going to be a very important one, especially for those of you who are actively looking for trades. I'm going to be talking mainly about euro dollar, but pretty much any instrument traded against the US dollar. And why I think this video is going to be very important is because we've got high impact news, and probably the news where I'm expecting the most reaction. All right, I'm talking about Fed interest rate decision that we have later today. And so if we switch over to the economic calendar here on TradingView, you will see that we've got Fed interest rate decision later today. And of course, half an hour after the news release, we also have FOMC press conference. So during those events, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of volatility, but I want you to pay attention to, what we're expecting from the news actually, because right now we've got 4.5% interest rate in the US, and we are expecting to see 0.25 points reduce in the interest rates, which means we should go down to 4.25. Of course, even though we do have forecast numbers here, it doesn't necessarily mean that this should be the outcome of the news release later today. Of course, there are surprises every now and then, and we may see one today. But even if there is no surprise, then what we can expect from the major instruments, and especially from euro dollar, is, we're looking at price action right now, and as you can see, we've just managed to break above some very important highs, but we are basically trading at the highs. All right, and I get people texting me every single day asking what is the best setup currently. And if I have to be honest, or at least the way I'm doing it, is I've switched off the volatility expert advisor. So the algorithm that I use to trade, it's currently off. Why is that? It's because, like I said, we are trading at the highs. So it's very difficult for me to, look for trading opportunities that make sense right now. We're literally just a few hours before very important news release. We're trading at the highs. So why risk it, right? And something else very important, I'll come back to the setup in just a second, but I'm sure if you've been trading for a while, right, you've heard the rule, you've heard a saying where people say, buy the rumor, sell the news. And if I have to be honest, we kind of already knew that we are expecting a reduce in the interest rate, which means that uptrend, and especially that most recent move, all of that is people buying the rumor. So basically the outcome of the news, especially if it is the same one as the forecast, well, it's already on the chart, right? The big players have already traded that based on the forecast of the news. Now, it's going to be very important and very interesting as well if, let's say, we have 0.5% reduced in the interest rate. What that means is we're most likely going to see a strong impulse, strong bullish momentum, right? But overall, we are following the same trend idea, and this is something that I talk about in the premium Telegram channel every single day, right? We have a clear uptrend on the major instruments because we know Trump wants a weaker currency, which means they're going to be working on that to reduce the interest rate, right? And so everybody knows that, everybody who trades knows that, and so that's why everybody is trading in this uptrend, basically looking for buying opportunities all the time. And this is exactly what we've done as well. So it's not a big issue that we're not looking for trading opportunities right now at the highs, because we've already made profit in the move prior to that, right? And this is very important, especially for those of you who are still struggling to find a correct strategy to trade, or still struggling to find out what is the main market direction. But I think it's very clear. We're looking at the daily time frame, obviously a higher time frame, which will tell us what is the actual current trend, and we can see that this is bullish trend, right? So that's why we're only looking for buying opportunities. And when price is trading at the highs and we're trying to buy, it's obviously not the best idea to be looking for long positions when everybody has already made money in this uptrending move. So that's why we have to be patient. Now, there's a couple of things you need to know. First of all, it really depends on the outcome of the news later today, but If, let's say, we don't see a continuation right to the upside straight away, that probably means we're going to see a retracement. Now, even if I see a strong bearish momentum, it doesn't mean I'm going to switch my bias. It doesn't mean I'm going to be looking for selling opportunities whatsoever. Actually, I'm going to be waiting for price to end this correction, to end this pullback, and then at the end of the pullback, I'm going to be looking for certain signals that will tell me when this uptrend is about to continue. Because whenever I see a signal like this, basically a reversal signals on the higher time frames, that means this is where I'm going to be looking for buying positions. And I'm going to be waiting without trading during this whole pullback. It doesn't matter where this pullback will end. As long as price is trading to the downside, I'm not trading. All right, I'm only waiting, observing price action, waiting for my time. And as soon as we see a reversal signal, this is where we start looking for buying opportunities. Now, if that happens, right, and we have a pullback before the move to the upside, for me personally, this is even better because obviously it's going to give us a better risk to reward ratio on our setup. Now, what will happen if we see a continuation to the upside right away? We'll have to wait later on for price to give us a pullback, maybe a retest of the breakout levels, and this is where we're going to be looking to, enter some long positions. Whichever one of these happens, we've got to be patient, we've got to be disciplined, and it's much easier to do that and to stick to your plan when you've traded, this whole uptrend that we had before that, because we're currently in a long-term strong uptrend, right? It's kind of easy to trade that. Now, like I said, it's not just euro dollar, it's also pound dollar, also the rest of the majors, some of the cross pairs as well, and of course gold, which I'm going to get to in a second. But before that, you can have a look at this one right here. So at the beginning of this year, 1st of Jan, so as you can see, throughout the whole year up until now, we've had the same interest rate, 4.5% without a change. So this is going to be the first change in the interest rates since the beginning of the year, and we're expecting lower interest rates because, like I said earlier, Trump is trying to lower the value of the US dollar, while the European Central Bank doesn't have this policy. They don't share the same politics at the moment. So we've got European Central Bank, Fed interest rate kind of going against each other, and so that's why we have this uptrend, and I feel like this trend will continue. All right, so that's why we're only going to be looking for buying opportunities here on euro dollar, and I already gave you the kind of the setups that I'm looking at. Okay, first we may be expecting a retracement here, so we're not trading during that retracement. We're waiting for that retracement to end. Whenever that happens, it could be a higher low, higher than this previous one. We could come all the way down to retest the 1.1570 lows. That's also a possibility, right? And this is where we're going to be looking for buying opportunities. But if instead of that, we have a strong bullish momentum taking price, let's say even around 1.20, then we're not going to be trying to enter a long trade right at the peak of the move, but instead of that, we're going to have to be even more patient and then wait for a retracement afterwards, and that's where we're going to be looking for buying opportunities. And I want you to pay attention to the higher time frames. This is very important. If, let's say, technically we get up to around the 1.20 level, last time we were trading at 1.20, that was back in 2021. All right, what about 1.24? That was back in 2017, 2018. And a lot of people have not traded euro dollar at those levels. So just because we have a strong uptrending move, and just because we have consecutive impulsive bullish candles, it doesn't mean that you have to go against that move. In fact, you're probably gonna wipe out your account if you're going against that move. I think it's very clear what is the market direction, right? And I think we can all agree on that. So that's why we're only looking for buying opportunities. So if you have a look at pound dollar, for example, again, this is the daily time frame. We've just broken above a very strong resistance level right here at 1.3570, 3580. So with that breakout right before the news, that could be a fake move, right? Because a lot of traders, a lot of retail traders are going to be looking for that breakout. And as soon as they see that breakout happening, they're going to start loading on a lot of buy orders, a lot of long positions. So what could easily happen is with the news later today, we may see something like this and a sharp reversal, just so the market can take out a lot of those market participants and then later on go back to the upside, confirming once again the long-term trend. So that's why I think right now I personally don't have any setups, and whoever asked me what is the setup right now on either one of those instruments, I just simply say that I'm not trading right now, I'm just waiting for the news. Okay, so another type of strategy that we use here at trendlineforex.com is to, wait for news, and after the news release you will have, let's say, a bullish, impulsive bullish candle. So after that, you can look for entries within that candle or at the close of the candle, placing your stop loss just on the other side of this news release candle, right? This is something that I've explained in previous videos as well, but also I talk about this in the premium Telegram channel every single time we have high impact news. So what else? I know a lot of you guys trade gold, and as you can see, recently we were trading kind of sideways, right? Even though we are again in a long-term, very strong uptrend right here. So you shouldn't be going against that move. Okay, we're only looking for buying opportunities. Eventually we managed to break above that, and as you can see, price gathered a lot of momentum to the upside, especially after the breakout. So what am I expecting to see? Well, exactly the same price action like we had just before that. So I'm expecting to see bullish price action, not a lot of retracements, not a lot of pullbacks, and just price steadily continuing pushing to the upside. So, you can trade that on the lower time frames if you wish. You can also find setups on the higher time frames. And if you're still struggling to trade manually, well then, you can chat with us and we can present to you the Volatility Expert Advisor, the tool that we use at Trendline Forex to trade our own personal accounts. And actually, if this is your first time on our channel, make sure to go and check out the rest of the videos, or at least the most recent videos where I'm sharing the results, on some of our trading accounts, of course, live accounts, where we're using the Volatility Expert Advisor, and you will see what kind of results we get on a monthly basis on euro dollar, on pound dollar, and on gold as well. The Volatility EAA is performing very well on euro dollar and gold, so we do share the results from the Volatility EA here on this channel. I think that's pretty much all, guys. I'm not gonna rumble a lot more. I mean, this is probably the most important piece of information I can give you right before the news later today. So stay patient, right? Be disciplined, stick to your plan, and I'm sure results will eventually come. If you want to get in touch with us, you can do that via Telegram. Check out all the links below this video and make sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Information like this is coming out every now and then. So if you're serious about trading, definitely subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.